Hello friends, welcome. Today we would be covering a very important topic. We would be starting a very important topic, percentage. Percentage problems are asked in all competitive exams. So it is very important that we understand this concept. Of course, there are variety of percent problems. There are variety of problems based on percentage. So we would be covering the basic concepts today, which is right here, and then in subsequent classes we would be covering shortcut trick related to several problems. So if you want to study these, then do tune into our channel, do subscribe and enable the notifications. So moving on, let us very briefly cover what percentage actually means. Right? So most of you are already aware what percentage means, but this diagram clearly summarizes the concept. Here there are total of 100 squares, out of which 3 are brown. This fact is represented in one of these several ways. So this is how it's represented in fraction, 3 out of 100. This is how we would represent it in decimal, and the same fact in percentage says 3 out of 100. Percent means 3 out of 100. So 3% means 3 out of 100. Right? So this is how we would express it. In general, to convert p percent of x, to find out p percent of x, what we would do, we would convert p percent to a fraction which becomes p by 100 and then multiply it with x, and this would be the p percent of x. Similarly, if total number of things are m and we want to find out n out of m, this is how we would represent n out of m in fraction, and to convert it into percent we would multiply it by 100. Right? So this is the percent. This is the n out of m percent. So with this information, this basic percentage understood, this basic information understood, I would like to have you understand very important concept of relative quantities. Right? And it's very important because although we use it in daily life, we can develop lot of shortcut tricks in examination if we were to understand this concept of relative quantities. So relative quantities you already know, right? I mean, if two cars are traveling, we often say that, oh, this car is traveling at twice the speed, which essentially means that we are not interested in their individual speeds. It might be 50 kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers per hour. We are only comparing their speeds, and that's the concept of relative quantity. Similarly, this pizza, it has this slice represents 1/4, no matter what the size of the pizza is. This slice would always be 1/4 of the whole. Right? And this is again a relative quantity. Similarly, here I have two blocks, right? Two blocks arranged like this. In this particular bar, I have a total of 4 yellow blocks, 2 brown and 2 red. Here I have just one each of red and brown and 2 of yellow. The relative quantities of yellow, brown and red blocks in each of these two bars is same. The individual absolute quantities might be different. And this particular fact again can be represented either as fractions. So for example, if I want to represent the quantity of red blocks, I would say it's 1 out of 4, and this is a fraction. Quantity of yellow blocks is 2 out of 4. Again, it's represented as fraction. And this fraction holds for both the smaller one and the larger one, because here it would be 2 out of 8, which essentially becomes 1 by 4 again. Right? Similarly, I can represent this fact in terms of ratio. So if I were to say the ratio of red block to total number of blocks is 1:4, which means for every 4 blocks I have 1 red block. This is also correct. And the same fact can be represented as percentage. Right? So we want to convert these 4 blocks. Right? If I had to combine these 4 blocks and 4, 4, 4, 4 and make 100 blocks, what would be the number of red blocks? It would be, this 4 becomes 100. To make this 400, I would have to multiply by 25, and here I have to multiply by 25. So this becomes 25. If I had 100 such blocks, 25 blocks would be red, 25 of 100, right? So 25 total blocks, 100 total blocks, 25 would be red. Or what's the percentage, right? Per 100, how many red blocks I have? 25%. Right? So 25% of my blocks are red blocks. All of these three things represent exact same thing, right? These three quantities, 25%, 1:4, 1/4, they represent exact same thing. They are representing relative quantities, right? Not absolute ones. And keep this in mind, right? Keep this in your mind when we are solving problems. In all the problems involving percentages and ratios, we will discuss later. All the problems involving percentages, we have to work in relative domain for a certain amount of time. So we would be dealing with relative quantities for a while, and then suddenly from relative quantity we will jump to absolute quantities, and we will see this in an example very shortly. All the problems this thing would happen. We want to and we like to deal in relative quantities as much as possible. We want to convert to absolute quantities only when required. So this is one thing that has to be noted. Another thing is, relative quantities can be added or subtracted. So for example, if I said that 25% of the blocks are red, other way to say it would be 100 minus 25% blocks are not red, which essentially means 75% of the blocks are not red. So here what I did, I subtracted the relative quantities. So relative quantities can be added or subtracted, provided that we don't mix our absolute and relative quantities, right? So and the last thing is, if you are dealing in relative quantities, keep them separate, understand what is relative and what is absolute, and don't mix those. So for example, if I were to go to a grocer and I told him that I want 1 kg of tomatoes and I'll give you half the money in my pocket, the grocer probably won't like that, because half the money in pocket is relative quantity. It could be, I could only have 1 rupees, right? So half of that would be 50 paisa, and I want 1 kg of tomatoes for that. And so the other quantity is absolute. So the two don't really go together. So lot of students make this mistake. They confuse relative and absolute quantities, and I'll tell you a very simple technique with which we can avoid doing that. Well, we'll go to that in a second. So with that, all that information, let's start our very first problem. It is a very basic problem. What percent is 60 of 240? So what we have to do here, I have total of 240 things, and I want to find out if these 240 things were reduced to 100, where would 60 fall? This is what I have to find out. So one way to do is to use our formula for percentage, right? I want to find 60 of 240, this is the corresponding fraction, and I multiply this by 100, and this becomes my percent, or this becomes 1/4 into 100, which is equal to 25%. So one way to do it would be like this, but the conceptual picture that you want to have is, if 240 were reduced, were scaled to 100, where would 60 fall? So here, right, and this would fall at 25, or my percentage becomes 25%, right? So when we are going from absolute domain to relative domain, we are scaling things, right? We are scaling things, and what's the factor with which we are scaling? We are scaling by a factor of 100 by 240. So here also we are scaling by a factor of 100 by 240, and of course this becomes 60 into 100 by 40, which comes out to be 25. So always have this mental picture that we are going from absolute to relative, or going from relative to absolute, we are scaling things. Here is another example. Here we have to find the sales tax on 1600, right? At the rate of, if sales tax was at the rate of 20%, we have to find it on a figure of 1600. Right? Again, very simple. So 20% means, if I want to convert it into fraction, it would be 20 per 100. 1600, I want to find out 20% of 1600, which essentially becomes 20 by 100 into 1600. If you have to solve this, it will become 320. Again, we are scaling, we are going from percent domain, so this is to 100 and then 20, and we are going from this domain to an absolute domain of 0 to 1600. So this is scaling, right? We are scaling from this to that, right? And 20% would fall somewhere here at 320, right? So this is the mental picture. This is again a very simple problem, right? Not very difficult. Here the thing is that we have to understand is we are not required to find any absolute quantity, right? And that's what the trick about this question is. What percent of x is y? What percent of x is y? So we have to find the percent of y relative to x. So x would come in the denominator, right? I mean, notice the language here carefully. What is it that we have to find y relative to? And the thing that we are finding the value of y related to would come in the denominator. So x would come in the denominator, right? Lot of students again, they would invert this and they would get the wrong answer. Here we have to find percent of y relative to x. So x comes in the denominator and we have to find y by x percent. Right? So now after we understand this thing becomes actually very simple. 50% means 50 by 100, x minus y is equal to 30 by 100 into x plus y. 100, all of this cancel out, this becomes 5x, of course 3x would come from there and this becomes 3y plus 5y go there. So this becomes 2x is equal to 8y. Now if you have to simplify this becomes y by x is equal to 1 by 4. Of course this is y by x fraction. To convert it into percentage, what we have to do? Y by x percent is equal to 1 by 4 into 100, which becomes 25%. Again, very simple if we don't get confused, right? Now this is our first real problem where we have to use the concept of relative value and the absolute value. So here the first thing that we are going to do to separate out our relative values from our absolute value is that we are going to assume our relative value with a x. So our relative value, what percent number? So we assume the number to be 100x. Now you will ask me, sir, why did you assume 100x? Why did you not just assume x or 20x, 5x? I can assume anything I want. Nothing prohibits me from assuming 5x. I could very well do that. I chose 100x because if I chose the number 100x, my 10% of 100x is very easy to compute. It just becomes 10x. That's why I chose 100x. And lot of times in these problems, in the relative value problems which deal with relative quantities, percent, fractions, ratios, we would assume values which make our calculations easy. In this case, 100x made my calculation very easy. So now 100x is added with 10x, the total becomes 110x, and I know 110x is what? 1331, right? Look at this. Here we have our relative quantity, this is our relative domain, and here we have absolute domain, and we were able to equate this because we had used an unknown here, x. Now x can take on any value to make this equality true, and we have to find that value of x, and x comes out to be 12.1. Of course our original number is not x, right? Keep that in mind. What we had assumed originally, 100x. So 100x becomes, or our original number becomes 1210, right? Very simple, right? Provided we make the right assumptions and we keep our relative values and absolute values separate, right? Just keep them separate, don't get confused. Again, 60% of a number is 360. So let's again assume the number to be 100x. What is 60% of 100x? 60x. It becomes so simple, right? So 60x becomes equal to 360, or x becomes 6, right? What we have to find out? 99% of our original number was 100x. 99% of 100x is 99x. Therefore, answer becomes 99x, or 99 into 6. If you compute it, it would come out to be 594. Again, very simple. With the right assumptions, this problem became very simple. If we had assumed x, our original number to be x, there would be a lot of fractions here, which we of course don't like. Next problem, 15% of the number is subtracted from itself. Again, we are going to assume the number to be 100x, correct, absolutely correct. If we assume the number to be 100x, 15% of number becomes 15x. Subtract 15x from 100x, what is left? Remember, we can subtract these relative quantities, we can do that. and the answer becomes 85x, and of course 85x is 2550, and we want to find out x as 2550 divided by 85. Of course this is not what we want to find, we want to find 100x. So 100x, this is our original quantity that we assume, becomes 2550 divided by 85 into 100, and this comes out to be 3000. Again, very simple. You probably can do away with all these steps. All you have to write was this line, this single calculation. Now, so far we have dealt with percentages which are always less than 100, but percentages can be more than 100 too, right? For example, our profit for some firm, if it doubles, if it becomes 2 times, we can also say that it became 200%, right? So percentages can be bigger than 100. So 200% means something got doubled, 300% means something got tripled, so on and so forth. So here is one problem where we have to deal with percentages bigger than 100. So here we have a number, let's assume it to be 100x. If 39 is added to it, so 100x plus 39 is added to it, the number becomes 113% of itself, which means it became 113x. 113% of 100x is what? 113 divided by 100 into 100x, which becomes 113x, right? So you can probably solve for x here, right? Another way to directly arrive at this equation would be, so this becomes 13x is equal to 39 or x is equal to 3, right? Another shortcut to arrive directly at this one would be to understand that if the number is 100x and it became 113x, where is this extra 13 coming from? It is coming from 39, like, correct, right? So this extra 13 came from 39, and we can directly go to here, right? Just by reading the language, reading the problem carefully, we can write this, find the value of x, and ultimately find the value of 100x, which comes out to be 300, right? Read the problem carefully, right, and arrive at the shortest possible equation that you can. Now here we have a house which was sold for 357,000, and this 357,000, when it was sold for 357,000, it produced a profit of 19%. So assume that the house was again 100x. What was the final value for which it was sold? It got a profit of 19x, so final value would be 119x, and this 119x is equal to what? 357,000. Therefore, we can find the value of x to be 3, and again the profit is, we know, is 19x, right? On a value of house of 100x, 19x is the profit, and therefore 19x becomes equal to, you can calculate it, it comes out to be 57,000. Right? This would be 3,000. So again, very simple, provided we start with this equation, right? If we assume the original value to be x, things would get a little complicated. We would have to deal with fractions. Now here we have a problem where it says 40% of 70 is what percent more than 30% of 80. Again, this problem appears very complicated, not because the arithmetic is complicated, but because the language is a little twisted. It appears a little twisted. The clarity comes, right? A lot of people have difficulty. They have to they understand. Right? A lot of students, when they read this problem, they understand that we have to calculate percentage with respect to something. Either that something is 40% of 70 or 28, or it is 24. That much we understand. But a lot of students do not understand what is the percentage with respect to. Is it with respect to 28 or with respect to 24? Read the language again carefully. More than, which means that everything has to be with respect to 30% of 80 or 24, and that's what we have to be careful. So here the difference is more than, which means we have to find the difference. So 28 minus 24, and everything has to be with respect to this more than this. So this is the quantity with which everything has to be with respect to. So this, and of course we have to do into 100 to calculate the percentage. If you solve it, it would come out to be 16.66%. Right? So again, carefully look at what is being asked in the question. Right? Read the question very, very carefully. Moving on to next question. Now we have a fruit seller which has some apples. He sold 40% of the apples, but he has 420 apples left. So how many apples did he not sell? He still has 40% out of 100 is gone. Therefore 60% out of 100 is left. Now 60x, this is the quantity of apples which is left, we are told is equal to 420. Originally we assumed that he had 100x apples, 60x equal to 420. You can simplify this, ultimately 100x would come out to be 700. Right? So here, from here, x would come out to be 7 and 100x would come out to be 700. Again, very, very simple. This is a slightly tricky problem. All it is saying is, if A is equal to x% of y is x by 100 into y, B is y% of x, which means y by 100 into x, just basic formula, and these two quantities are equal. So this is the answer. Now here is another problem where students face problem because of the language. A number exceeds 20% of itself, right? So assume the number to be 100x. What is 20% of this number? 20x. A number exceeds 20% of itself by 40. And this, right, the difference between the number itself and 20% of the number is 40. This is what the problem is saying, and with this we can find the value of x comes out to be half, and therefore 100x, our original number, comes out to be 50. Lot of students here, or at least some of the students here, would start doing 120x. From somewhere they would understand that I have to find out 120x, which is not the case. 120x is not coming into picture. All it is saying is the number exceeds 20% of itself, and this difference is 40. And this is the equation that we have to form. Now here is another example where we have to work only in the relative domain, and here we are going to make an assumption on the number. So we are going to assume the number to be something. We can assume the number to be x, we can assume it to be 100x, we can assume it to be 20x, right? We are going to use an assumption which would make our calculations simple. So we know that whatever our assumption is, be it 20x, be it x, be it 100x, it has to be multiplied by 7 by 4 and 3 by 5. We know that, right? In the calculation we would have to do that. If I multiply x by 7 by 4, I would have a fraction which I don't really like. So instead of assuming just x, what I am going to assume? My number to be 20x. And where did I get this 20? 20 is the LCM of 4 and 5. And I like that because if I assume the number to be 20x, what is 7 by 4 of 20? This cancels out and this becomes 35x, and similarly 3 by 5 of 20 becomes 12x. So this is 3 by 5 of 20x and this becomes 12x. Now what is it asking? It is saying what is the percent error? Percent error always has to be calculated relative to the original value. So our original value or our correct value was 3 by 5x. Percent error has to be computed with respect to this 12x. So 12x would come in the denominator. On top I would have 35x minus 12x, and of course this is percent, so we would have to multiply it by 100. X and x cancel out, right? It is important to understand that this relative quantities would always cancel out, the x would cancel out, but we still like to keep x in our calculations so that we don't get confused between relative values and absolute values. So keep the x's with you and you would understand that there is a factor involved here. It is not it's not an absolute value. So what is the percent error? If you compute this would come out to be 19.16%. Again, very, very simple, not difficult. Now here we have A and B whose total salary is 1500. So I cannot really assume A's salary to be, let's assume A's salary to be 100x, B's salary has to be different, it cannot be the same. So I assume it to be 100y, right? And the total salary is 1500, we know that. 90% of the income A had spent. So how much had A saved? A had saved 10%, and 10% of 100x is 10x. Similarly, B spent 20%. What was saved? 20%. 20% of 100y is 20y. And this we know is 10x divided by 20y is equal to, we know it to be 3 by 4. What is their absolute salary? That's what we have to find out. So from here I can say x is to y is equal to 3 is to 2. Now notice how we go from these relative values 3 is to 2 to absolute values, right? So the way we do it is, if I had a total of 5 rupees, if they earned a total of, let's say, 5 rupees, their salary is in ratio of 3 is to 2, like their salaries would be 300 and 200, right? So it would be in ratio of 3 is to 2. That's the ratio of x is to y. So out of a total of 5 rupees, 3 would go to x and 2 would go to y. We understand that because their salaries are in ratio of 3 is to 2. Out of a total of 1500 rupees, how much would each earn? So this is our relative domain and we have to go to absolute domain. So what factor do I use to go from here to here? I use a factor of 300. To translate from absolute value, relative value of 5 to 1500, I have to multiply by 300. So if I multiply each of these quantities with 300, I would get their respective salaries, which is 900 and 600 into 300. So 900 and 600. Right? So easily we were able to translate from this relative quantity to the absolute quantities. Everything is scaled the same way. That is the point. Now here again we are going to use our trick of using two variables x and y. Here we are told A exceeds B by 40%. So if B is assumed to be 100x, A becomes 140x. Similarly, here if we assume C to be 100y, we have to choose a different variable y, different multiple here, because C is distinct from B. B becomes equal to 80y. Now this and this are same, they are both B. So 100x is equal to 80y, or in other words x by y is equal to 80 by 100 or 4 by 5. This is the ratio of x is to y. What we have to find out? Ratio of A is to C. Again everything is relative. So A is to C is equal to nothing but 140x divided by 100y. We know x by y is 4 by 5. So we replace it here. If you simplify it, this would come out to be 28 is to 25. Again very, very simple, right? The trick was to use two different variables here, right? Just to make our calculations simple. Now with this we end our first class on percentages, the basic class on percentages. In the next class we would discuss several problems on percent change and income and expenditure, income and consumption, right? So if these are the sample problems. So this is again very important, asked in lot of exams, and if you want to understand how to solve these problems very, very quickly with very, very small shortcuts, very, very simple shortcuts, then do subscribe to our channel, do tune in. If you have questions, don't hesitate, ask them below in the comment section. Thank you and good luck.